everybody, welcome welcome back to my channel. My name is Leah Catherine, this is Lacey's Movies, and we are back with the next episode of Young Justice, the final episode of the Zatanna arc, although I would argue it's even more of a Klarion arc than it is Zatanna, since we actually don't get that much focus on Zatanna as a person, which is a little disappointing. You know, not a huge fan of Dr. Fate in this show, or maybe, I think I liked him in other stuff. I don't know. He never wants to do the work. He just comes to be condescending and kind of talk down to people and then get his butt kicked in a fight after talking about how amazing the Lords of Order are. I'm not a fan. But despite two episodes ago not really enjoying it all that much, last episode really surprised me in the best way possible. I really enjoyed this kind of bringing this whole universe together, bringing multiple scenes together with this bus arc and saying that, oh boy, everything's connected. That was fun. I'm really not sure if this was an immaculate case of foreplanning or just taking advantage of a really convenient bus that they had in a lot of scenes. But either way, I think the execution of it was really great and it was a really fun episode. I guess now we're gonna see what happens. How does Klarion and presumably Klarion and Dr. Fate and Zatanna team up to take down the child? Will Zatanna be lost in the battle? Probably. And then who's gonna take up the helmet after that? Because like I said last episode, I don't think there's a lot of upsides to being Dr. Fate's host. So are they just gonna put him on the back burner for now after this? Will this be his kind of retiree episode? Or, you know, none of that will happen and we'll get to really explore Gar some more, which is everyone's favorite part. And I was told to have a heart in regards to Gar, and I do, but, you know, I got it the 1st through 7th times, okay? It's a little repetitive. I have a heart, but I do have a short attention span, so. All right, so on that lovely sign off, we're gonna end this intro here. Let's get started. Heart might break. Break my heart. You could break the heart by dying. That's an option. Oh God. Max Original. I was like, why does this intro look different? Because it's wrong. Because it's wrong and it's bad and I hate it.
There is work to do.
Vandal team up.
What began with the stranger calling upon a savage would now come to a head with the savage summoning the stranger.
They really are trying to save money by doing everything like PowerPoint style. I don't know if I'm a fan of the idea of a Deus Ex Vandal Savage. So okay, Vandal helps because the planet's on fire. This is what you wanted. You sank Atlantis just to see if some people became mer people. This forced evolution, kinda your jam. Why help?
We're looking for you everywhere.
Everywhere. Space, time, very wibbly wobbly.
I thought Child killed you.
She killed Tico.
No, he sounds so sad.
Klarion now uses that vehicle to anchor himself to the mortal plane.
Seriously, get the children off of the bus before he flies away again.
Out of the question. The witch boy cannot be trusted.
I mean, duh, but
Right now, you need each other.
But Child has the backing of the Chaos Lords, so we don't got a lot of choice here.
nobody wants to work anymore.
Get your fucking ass up and work.
First stop, wherever they keep my new cat.
Since when did Dr. Fate join the Justice League?
So, when was the Justice Society a thing? Also, who are you? Love the look though, very nice, but yeah, who are you? It was in a Blue Beetle, and then Blue Beetle did not come out.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
So I find that confusing.
That's not going away anytime soon.
Oh, I love an underreaction, I can't lie.
I brought you vegan Thai Chinese fusion. Your favorite.
Thanks.
He's like, yeah,
But I just ate. Can we
thanks.
schedule for...
Plan schman. None of it'll work if I don't feline up first.
Why does his anchor have to be a cat? Does he just like cats?
You really been bouncing around time and space for 10 years?
Feels more like a couple of hours, but I guess so.
I really have to pee.
Could have peed in the Arctic. Although I probably wouldn't want to take my pants off there. Okay. Okay, kids, at this point, you gotta stop screaming. You know what the situation is. Oh my god. What year? Old Salem Inn?
The stranger summoned the Lords of Order and the Lords of Chaos to here.
Who is this stranger? Why does he have this kind of pull? Oh, the
Vandal
guy.
Savage, who has maintained the balance there. Child has upset that balance.
You are to blame.
Love that look.
Your alliance with
They are really cheaping out on animation, though. And I guess they didn't have a budget?
the dark side has evolved Earth into a significant front in the war between order and chaos.
Like, how come the child could use, like, a giant diamond monster man as anchor familiar, but he needs, like, the perfect cat? Aww.
That's it. That's the
It looks just like Teagle, too.
What was the point of coming to an animal shelter if he was gonna pick a stray off the street?
Adopt, don't shop.
No, all it needs is a name.
She needs is a name.
It's actually really hard to tell with cats. Like, I wouldn't, especially kittens that young, you have to, like, stare up. Anyway, it's hard to tell.
I'll call her
Teagle.
But that was
Now the animal has truly become his anchor.
So I guess she has to look like Teagle.
Lovely to meet you, Tico.
Come, child continues the
Are you
rampage.
the bus?
You and the kids stay with the bus. We'll be back to send you home.
What year did y'all leave these children in? You don't drive through that stupid Ankh? Like, you're not leaving me in the witch trials. He's building a new tower.
All is ready. Begin, witch boy.
going to partner with fate to get your way. But that only proves my point. You're a tool of order, unworthy of chaos.
I just have no real evidence that Earth matters. Vandal's trying to make the argument like, oh, you have to, defend the balance on Earth, but like Earth can be destroyed. There's bigger fish. There's a whole galaxy. Also, Jesus Christ.
Haven't been in the same room since you returned from Mars.
Literally summoning the Lords of Order and Chaos within this episode. Dr. Fate, Clarion teaming up against the child. Gar. Okay.
And I want
like, just give him his own arc. Like, that, I think that's what's so jarring about it. Everyone else, we have to wait patiently to give them any screen time. But for Gar, cut back, cut back, cut back.
too perfect.
She had much better taste in anchors.
This can only end one way, child.
Yeah, with me laughing my ass on.
Ass? Is this one of those technicalities? Because technically it also means donkey, so they can say it on a kid's show. Ooh!
That's not right.
Is she sucking it up? Ooh!
An effective technique, if I were truly organic.
So, could he just disembody humans? Because, ooh, that's nasty. She's so Azula coded.
Fortunately, the Savage never learned to surrender.
Also, this is quite literally telling us, not showing us.
With a final conflict between Apocalypse and Earth, wherein if Earth falls, the anti-life equation reigns supreme. Chaos will virtually cease to exist, rendering order moot.
Okay. They finally made a good argument. But then shouldn't they just be personally invested in destroying Darkseid? That doesn't necessarily need Earth. Unless there is a fate. In which case, Order would win. Because that means that there is a fated way that eventually the Earth will always fall to.
Balance, I charge you to honor your true purpose.
Because fate and
What say you?
chaos can't truly exist. If there is a set path, then there is order.
Lords of Order agree to your proposal. Chaos also agrees. The child will no longer have our support.
The little witch lost lost your edge.
I still have more than enough power stored up to eliminate the likes of all of you.
Raining fire.
Julius! Burn, 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 burn!
I like that she's sounding more like Clarion the more she talks. So when she gets like really excited, the burn, they do that same like weird echo thing. Those powers of Zeus don't do shit.
I need more power!
Barry, stop! You're draining the life force from us, from everything.
Ooh.
Ooh, my kind of girl.
Yeah, I like her.
See, Mary has sneakily become a way more interesting side character. Even kind of more than Zatanna has gotten a chance to be. Just throw a rock!
You walked off the set of Space Trek?
I needed a break.
And the Outsiders? Are you on a break from them too?
What, I can't take a day off? But yeah, no, that's interesting. The idea that she stopped being the sergeant or whatever because she kind of fell into the temptation of the power, the strength, the ability. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it a different way, and then is falling to the same kind of weaknesses, because then it turns into like, is it a personal human flaw that I can't overcome? I can't resist the allure of power.
What are these?
Nothing. It's something to help me sleep.
Something to help you check out, you mean? Garfield, you're pushing me away.
I mean, he is, but he has
You need help.
massive sense of depression.
Let me get
Major depressive disorder.
But I don't do breaks. If you won't let me help you, and if you won't help yourself, I won't stand by and watch you self-destruct.
There's the door, Your Majesty.
You know, Gar's still pretty ripped for someone who clearly isn't exercising. It's a genetic advantage. Feels like a lot of these problems maybe could just be solved with a rock. Throw a rock at new Teakle. I know Teakle's not the problem here, but...
You're pretty powerful, aren't you? Be a real bummer if that one tiny little crack were to spread. Real bad luck.
So, you could have done that the whole time?
No, wait. I can fix it. Dang it.
The Childs and Clarion are so related. Once again, what did Fate do? Nothing. He's not that guy.
I feel all warm and sunny.
That's cute. Like in a creepy way, but...
You're welcome, and I'm out of here. See you later, avocados.
You're welcome for doing nothing. Just being impaled.
Your students surprised me this day.
You didn't surprise me.
Demonstrating great potential.
That one, potential for evil. Oh, I'm not gonna call that out at all? Okay, guess not.
Why are they getting rewarded and I'm not?
It's not a reward. He needs hosts who can balance out his less humane impulses.
That's a terrible... Why do they want...
Careful about where that power comes from, or whom it hurts when you take it or use it.
The cost was worth the result.
That's how he thinks, Mary.
Whom do you speak? Of what?
You trash bag? Busted ass helmet.
I propose that Naboo alternate host bodies between my father, Khalid, Tracy, and myself, keeping Fate's host fresh and healthy at all times.
I feel like I still don't have like a good understanding of the actual cost of wearing the helmet. Like, we can see Zatara's probably aged a little faster, but...
Agreed.
But one other must yet be convinced.
Your dad.
No, absolutely
Of
not.
course.
I put on the helmet to save you from this curse.
Put on the helmet to save 14-year-old me, but I'm 20.
She was only 14 then? Why did I think she was older?
I can take this on 1 week in 4. Please.
Never could say no to my girl.
I mean, I guess this answers my central question, but... Why? This is a terrible gig. And he sucks.
I didn't even have a chance to ask if you...
I think you know I'm on board.
Wait. She didn't... She was just like threw that in there. She never suggested it to them. It would not be an honor.
I have real questions.
Yeah, like, why didn't you tell me?
Was this your plan all along? Did you take on proteges with the express purpose of using us to liberate your father?
Just super messed up. And totally what you did.
I want to be clear. You do not have to do
You
that.
can't try to sneak someone into being a host. You're 18. That's more than old enough to be the host of an ancient Lord of Order stuck in a helmet that's going to trap you within your own body. You're grown.
You and your father should at least discuss this.
Not you and your parents?
So I will go first.
I guess he gave up on them. I don't know.
And thus, balance is restored.
We have no intention of thanking Vandal Savage for cleaning up his own.
You should, because you weren't going to do anything.
This chaos did begin with one mortal, but not with Savage. It was the mere contemplation
Best students.
of an act of love.
I don't get it. How are they blaming her for this? Like, the whole Clarion sitch has nothing to do with her. I'm baffled by this connection.
Everyone has this number and doesn't hesitate to use it. She can help. I promise.
Let us be done with this.
I'm kind of upset that these kids are going to come back. How are they going to explain to their parents they have 10 years of trauma? Granted, to them it felt like a couple of hours, but still.
I think I saw Connor's spirit. His ghost. And he wasn't at rest.
I mean, he was blown up.
I understand your grief. These so-called heroes.
Hello.
Your so-called friends. Twice they've denied you power.
When you make your side characters interesting.
There is no longer any need to obey their rules. Their strictures.
Didn't we cut Granny Goodness in half last year? Where's she coming from now?
Say the word. Shazam.
Alright. That was nice. That was nice. I give this one a 7 out of 10? I think. I don't know. Once again, Dr. Fate. Oh boy, I actually think he's rapidly shot up my list of characters I can't stand on this show. There's nothing I hate more than a character who talks a lot and can't back it up. He doesn't do anything successfully. And then at the end, he's just like, ah, child, you know how this is going to end. You doing nothing while, what's-her-face, 13 saves the day while Vandal Savage is making backroom deals. Like, Succession on the Lords of Order and Chaos is happening, and you are in a space tentacle chaos force field or whatever. Like, just a useless man. Very interesting. Like, the big reveal that big reveal that Zatanna has been molding and training these children explicitly to enact a plan wherein she gets to see her father again. That was a nice reveal. I'm kind of sad we got the most interesting, like, Zatanna personality depth character moment in the literal final 3 minutes of the episode. It would have almost been fun if we had gotten this reveal last episode and we had a whole episode to work through it, because the way they phrased it and the way Mary presented it, I was like, oh, they all knew what they were in training for. No, she just dropped this on them like, yeah, I have this plan that we're all going to be Dr. Fate for a week. You're cool with that, right? So I think it would have been way more interesting. They have this moment. They realize that their beloved tutor has been molding them for her own ends. And yeah, maybe in the end, they're going to sing Kumbaya. They're going to say yes. They're going to agree to be Dr. Fate for a week. But it would have been fun to have a whole episode of them having to wrestle with that, especially in the midst of all this fighting that's still happening. So it's like, okay, well, we have a mission to fight. We're going to go through with it for now. But we'll get back to that kind of betrayal when this ends. But again, you know, the show doesn't really draw those kind of moments out that often. It tends to just be like, shocking reveal, we're over it. Everyone hug. I'm a very repetitive creature at this point. Whenever anything happens, I'm like, I just wish they'd just drawn it out. Let us live in the moment. Let us build on it. We actually do get to build on Mary, and I said this in the backstory episode that Curse was the most interesting to me because she was this new character with a power set I'm familiar with. we're like, ooh, she has this, you know, little bit of a dark side to her compared to just like insecurity, family squabbling. Like she had a very deep-seated and personal flaw that needed to be worked on. And so we see here that she never really worked on that central flaw. She just tried to mitigate it. So it was like, oh, okay, if I'm exposed to too much power this way, I become a problem. So maybe the issue is the power and not the issue is myself. And so now we're still seeing it occur in her, but we haven't dealt with it over the long term because, again, Zatanna was really busy trying to get to her own end goal, which is to have a revolving door of host bodies. That's so fun. I love that. And now she said Shazam, she's Sergeant again, and we're gonna see how Granny Goodness now tries to mold and take advantage of that. I did think Granny Goodness was cut in half, or like, I don't know, I think I have to go rewatch it because I don't really remember what happened to her now, but I guess she's back in action and telepathically convincing Mary to prey on all her wildest fears and insecurities and, you know, self-glorifying thoughts. And Gar stuff. He broke up with his girlfriend. Very sad. I did know that was going to happen because that got spoiled for me by YouTube at one point. I did not know it was going to be because of his untreated major depressive disorder, but now I know. Hopefully someone will call Black Canary because schedule a session. She could just do a little surprise session. She could be like, oh, I'm here to train the outsiders. Everyone, let's just have a little conversation. Because clearly everyone at this point, or at least Perdita, is saying, you need help. The other one seems to just walk away and ignore it. But Perdita flat out was saying, like, you need help. This is not healthy behavior. And he's blowing it off because that's part of the process. So maybe we need to get a real adult in the room, perhaps. One with a psychological, psychiatric background to, you know, back it up. So Tara didn't die, which, I guess, happy ending. Honestly, I'm fairly ambivalent to it. Like, I think I'm more upset just because I want it to be right, and so the fact that he's not dead really killed my vibe. Because of how it happened that he did not have to die, I'm like, okay, it gave us this really cool Zatanna motivation, so I'm like, fine, okay, we saved his life because something cool to explain it. If it was just, you know, because Dr. Fate's useless and was busy on the sidelines doing nothing, and because especially all the build-up last episode of like, it's going to take all of my BETTT to save my daughter, and it didn't take much. You just have to kind of float around because he didn't do anything useful, as per usual. Does he have to be Dr. Fate all the time? Like, I think that part is also unclear to me. Why can't it just be like, hey, there's a big Chaos Lord-based problem, let's whip out the helmet and then we'll go. Like, I guess that Dr. Fate doesn't want to be, like, in a closet next to the sneakers, but it doesn't seem like he really needs to be here 24/7. Like, I don't know what mystical threats he's fighting, but he seems to just chill out in his house. So, I don't get it. So, the very last scene, Connor's ghost is trapped in the quantum realm. Do I love it? No. I kind of wish he was just dead. The nature of these shows means that you bring in a dead character's ghost and I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, I didn't believe Wally was dead for like 2 seasons. And even then, they had to like show me him in heaven, like walking into the afterlife after Artemis had a very elaborate fantasy in which she bore his child, before I was like, oh, I guess he's dead. So here it's like, hey, that dead character's back. I'm like, yeah, makes sense. But I guess we did get one very big and final death already, so, you know, they can cash in their bringing a character back to life card. That's fine. I think it's just because I know that we are most likely not getting season 5. Like, I think officially they never said they were never coming back, but, you know, where the cards are currently laying, not looking good for them. So knowing that this is probably the last season, it feels like they've built up so much about this Vandal Savage versus Darkseid situation. We're all shaping Earth, we're shaping humanity to get to this amazing end fight. And we're just not gonna get there. And so all of this time spent on what is, in reality, just like a solid 1 season of dealing with Connor's death, dealing with Connor's probable resurrection, all of that, that is a normal 1 season arc. But because it's the final season, I'm just like, keep him dead and let's focus on other stuff. Which, again, isn't really a critique of the season. It's just, you know, the way things happen. If you don't know you're getting another season plopped can get dropped, things cannot be achieved that you wanted to achieve. But what is this? This is episode 13, so there's like 10 more. Let's see, how long is this season? Alright, 26. So we are exactly halfway through the season. We have 13 episodes left, potentially like 3 arcs, maybe like 2.5, like 2 arcs, like 4 episode ones, and then like a 5-part arc that brings in all of these separate ones into kind of one continuous thing. I don't know. And also, I was talking about all this time about Vandal, but yeah, which I am reminded because I just saw their little faces in the thumbnails. Those time traveler people who have a mission to stop the other time traveler people that, you know, killed Connor in the first place. We haven't even dealt with them in like 8 episodes. We just know they're still hanging out somewhere. So Vandal weirdly becomes a kind of a time suck because he's not going to go anywhere. We can only focus on the characters we have now. And as far as where the arc is going to go, we don't have our villain yet. Like, pretty much in every other season, especially by the halfway point, we knew who the big villain was, and we had a bunch of little smaller missions to undergo in the meantime. This season, it's a lot of emotional, personal arcs that are going to lead, presumably, to an unnamed villain, and that scares me, because I don't always love a big villain who's not well developed. Like, the child was great. I made that very clear. I loved her. She was super fun. Love an evil little girl. But she didn't need to be, like, complex. Even her motivation made sense to me. I'm a Chaos Lord. I rep the Chaos Lords. You're being a little bit too organized. I don't like that. Made perfect sense. Her chaos was fun. The consequences she caused on Earth was fun. But yeah, if she had been the big bad of the whole season, it would have been a little, like, she played her part perfectly. So the fact that we're halfway through and we don't even know who our big bad is gonna be, concerning. I didn't mean to go off for that long, but I have a lot of conflicting thoughts, I think, now that we're halfway through the season of, like, where is this gonna go? Where is this gonna end up? And not knowing stresses me out. I love to be able to predict, and right now I super, super cannot. Yeah, probably, well, how many arcs have we had so far? We had the Megana arc, Artemis arc, and then Zatanna. So Artemis arc is still definitely my favorite. Artemis and Cheshire, love it. Megane arc, spent half of it kind of uninterested, but they did go Connor, so that was big and exciting. And in this one, again, it kind of ends on a really exciting note. Like, ooh, Zatanna's been doing something rather conniving this whole time. We have a new kind of villain anti-hero that's about to, you know, but she's probably going to start as an anti-hero, but is being manipulated by Granny Goodness, so she will be doing some fairly villainous things soon. But yeah, I feel like these arcs that I don't enjoy as much, it's like they end on a really strong note, and it's like, I wish you'd started on that note to make the rest of this time worth it. But we move, and I think the next arc is Aquaman. He's not a lad anymore. An Aqua fellow, an Aqua gentleman. But either way, I think it's Calderon time, so I'm very excited about that. Because that's my baby. He's been my baby since season 1. Underrated and underappreciated, so hopefully they don't do the same thing they just did to Zatanna and, like, make it about someone else. Like, I hope it's actually about him this time, because that'll be a first. Yeah, so I think that's all I have for this one. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. All those good things that make me very, very happy. If you don't want to do any of that, but you've watched all the way to the end of this video, thank you. I still really, really appreciate you. You can follow me on Twitter at LeahSeesMovies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!